Alexander Dugin, Extreme Thought on Apocalypticism and Heidegger. Social Ecology's blog. Right off the bat, I do not share what I describe below in any form or fashion, but we have to take a peek into the dark side of strangeness and keep abreast of the fringes that seem to be insinuating themselves into politics abroad and at home. For those that have kept abreast of the alt-right mutations and divagations from NRX to the new right of European thought, there is an interview with the Russian apocalypse, Alexander Dugin, on Martin Heidegger. Dugin has the ear of Putin, and one is almost reminded of the old Tsar of the Russian Empire and Grigory Rasputin. Dugin has just enough of the political witchcraft of Western conceptuality to make him dangerous. He is, he tells us, neither of the right or the left, and against all forms of modernity as he perceives it, both liberal and communist. He's an apocalyptic Christian who sees Heidegger as compatible to his own thought, but that he sees Heidegger was hijacked by both the left, Derrida, and conservative pragmaticism, Rorty, which for Dugin are both under the umbrella of modernist thought forms. Below I've gathered a few snippets of his interview. Strange and apocalyptic rise of a new Eurasianism. He seems to think so. Are we seeing a new Rasputin in the midst? Read on. Heidegger saw the fourth political theory as an anti-liberal and anti-communist position that was critical vis-à-vis Nazism from the inside and not from the outside. Such criticism was possible only when Nazism was present. After its end he kept a silence that was very logical. I have attentively read all 3 volumes of the Black Notebooks. The texts are very exciting, as are all lines belonging to Heidegger. I consider him the best philosopher of the West, so any word uttered by him is precious and demands careful meditation. The inner criticism of National Socialism is effectively present in the Black Notebooks, but it is not the main or central theme. National Socialism is one of 3 political ideologies rooted in modernity. Its totalitarianism is absolutely modern. Hannah Arendt has shown that. Heidegger was the most radical critic of modernity as the oblivion of being. He denounces the modern aspects of National Socialism, including racism. That is quite logical. And I share these criticisms. I am against nationalism and against all creations of modernity. I am deeply persuaded that modernity is absolutely wrong in every respect. So Heidegger founded an existential understanding of people, des nexistiet volkis, he used to say, that is neither nationalist, nor internationalist. This point is the basis of the fourth political theory. European history is a weak and increasingly decadent repetition of Greek patterns. Political philosophy as philosophy in general was the creation of the Greek genius. The Greeks are our destiny, our identity. In order to understand Heidegger correctly, we need to share the basic anti-modern position that explains the main direction of his thought. He cannot be understood by liberals or communists, new leftists. They will criticize him or pervert his thought. We could start to understand Heidegger only after liberation from the hypnosis of all 3 forms of political modernity, liberalism, communism and fascism. It is a challenge for the future. My standpoint is against modernity, which I reject as antithetic to the truth, but whose dialectic I consider not as something casual but as the dialectical moment of the destiny of logos. Left and right are essentially modern. So they have nothing to do with my comprehension of being in its political dimension. But my anti-modernism had 2 periods, early Apollonian, traditionalism, and later Dionysian. The latter corresponds to the discovery of Heidegger's political philosophy. This discovery has led me to the development of a fourth political theory, based on an existential interpretation of the essence of das Politis, the political. Using Carl Schmitt's term, liberalism is part of exclusivist modernity and modernity is essentially totalitarian. There is open totalitarianism in Nazism. It is more open and radical in communism. The totalitarian, modern, nature of liberalism, which was hidden and implicit during the periods of confrontation with 2 other more openly totalitarian modern regimes, is now increasingly transparent and apparent. Beyond modernity, the Eurasia I dream of could one day turn into the existential ground for the meeting of these two families of day signs, Western and Eastern. But what is important is not the fact of meeting but the event of awakening, and mutual help in the awakening. The rebirth of Eurasia is an eschatological and spiritual event. Today, Eurasian people are in a profound existential sleep. But the logic of history put them in front of the dilemma either to awaken or die. I am sure the awakening will come all of a sudden. Being prepared by all human history, it will arrive quite unexpectedly. Such is Ignis. It can last. It is the rift in the texture of the sleep time of inauthentic existence. I am simply Heideggerian, trying to be as close as possible to this greatest thinker in order to understand him better. I am neither right nor left. I am with Heidegger in the truth and in seeking the truth. I am a religious man in definition of the directions that should lead to the truth. Christianity, at least Orthodox Christianity, and Heidegger in my personal existence and thought are fully compatible.